Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we get the first details on a new Tremors TV show in the rundown. And then we breach Rainbow Six Siege and give you a full debriefing in our review.
Team Rainbow must stand ready.
Also coming up, the Portal 2 bots invade the toy table. We continue to celebrate 25 seasons of EP with Julie Stouffer and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. And just to catch you up, at the end of the year, we are ending our relationship with City and G4 Canada. But if you like what we do and want to support us, the best thing that you can do is go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/EPNTV. Watch some content, comment on it, and please subscribe. But right now, let's get to the rundown. Japanese RPG fans have something new to look forward to. Sega has announced Valkyria Azure Revolution, the fourth game in the Valkyria Chronicles series. It's a prequel set 100 years before the other games, and this time around there's a permanent death feature, so if you get one of the characters killed, they'll stay dead. Valkyria Azure Revolution will launch on the PS4 next year. Hollywood is going to regurgitate another iconic franchise. Entertainment Weekly reports that a new TV series based on the 1990 monster movie Tremors is in the works. The film told the story of giant man-eating worms that live underground, and it spawned several straight-to-video sequels and a 2003 TV show that lasted just one season. The new TV series will probably be a bit more mainstream, however, because original star Kevin Bacon is in talks to reprise his role. I guess he couldn't maintain his degree of separation from the franchise forever. Bacon's last TV series, The Following, was canceled earlier this year. Hopefully the Tremors TV show will be able to gobble up more viewers and not just a side of Bacon. We've got a lot of stuff that's coming back to talk about in the rundown, and here to talk about that with me is Scott Jones, who we all know loves things that come back after they've been away for a little while, don't you?
I do like things coming back. No, I don't. I always like to think, let's strike new ground, let's go in new directions, let's tell new stories. But in both fronts here, we were getting old stories.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool that in both cases, we'll talk about Tremors first of all, you know, people that were involved in the original are back again doing stuff that is going to be new, and I think it's great that Kevin Bacon is saying, he obviously has the TV bug. He's a longtime movie star, but he's now, you know, quite acquainted with TV. The Following went on for a couple seasons, so it's cool that I think he's sticking with TV and he wants to get back in touch with the Tremors fans.
I was a huge fan of the original Tremors. I think it's a great film, but it's one of those films that I don't think we give enough credit to for being a great film, but it is very watchable. All of it goes down so easily.
It's so cheesy, but it's so fun,
right? It is, for sure. Yeah. But it's also kind of scary, too. I think there are some real scares in there.
Yep.
I don't know what to expect. I'll probably try it out, a few episodes, benefit of the doubt, Kevin Bacon.
And that's what we do, right? We see if we will keep watching. So, you know, stick around for a review on that. Valkyria Chronicles is definitely one of those games that is kind of one of these cult classics.
I think this series, the most striking thing for me is how beautiful it looks.
Yeah.
I feel like all the visuals here, you can see the hand drawings that have gone into crafting this. I feel like this is a big, rich world filled with lots of interesting characters. I like the fact that once your characters die in this game, they're not going to come back anymore. So you got to really think ahead. You got to be very careful. And I'm glad that there's so much wind in the sails for this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously taking some inspiration from the Fire Emblem games and kind of going head-to-head with that kind of, you know, game design idea. I think that's great. But right now, we have to take a look ahead at 2016 at Homefront Revolution.
To our honorable and faithful leaders, I want to say thank you.
Homefront, the Revolution, great name. Tell me about the revolution within this world that is Homefront.
So Homefront, the Revolution is an open world first-person shooter set in an occupied Philadelphia. You're dropped into the boots of a resistance soldier named Ethan Brady, and your mission is to fight the North Korean occupying force and inspire the people to rise up and join you. We've created an all-new alternate history that leads to an all-new alternate future. There are some key divergence points with our own timeline. What if the U.S. hadn't landed on the moon? Or what if Apple had been founded closer to Kaesong than Cupertino?
We have awoken from our wasteful sleep and taken responsibility for our future.
The idea is that you are a guerrilla fighter using fairly dirty tactics to strike back at people that have occupied your homeland.
One of the cool things I enjoy about the game itself is that they always have that feel that it's not your typical shooter. This isn't something where you just run in, kill everything, guns a-blazing, and then you win, you're the most dominant force ever. You guys really take us through the feeling of, maybe I should be a little bit more stealthy and not go gung-ho.
So one of the core pillars of this game is guerrilla warfare, and part of that is actually kind of an inverse power fantasy from most other games. Most other games, you are sort of that unstoppable force that just encounters a group of enemies, plows through them, and keeps pushing forward. It takes a bit of time to adjust your mentality to think like a guerrilla fighter. When you encounter a group of enemies, sometimes the best option is not to engage at all and try and get around them. But you know, if you do have to, then you just want to cause as much damage as you can to open up an escape for yourself, and it requires you to have a very, very keen awareness of what's around you, right? And it's something that you don't get in a linear game where, again, you can only go forward. Now you're thinking, okay, I've got an alley to this direction, I've got an open sewer in this direction, and I've got a fire escape behind me. So if this goes south, and it usually does because the response is overwhelming, you're outnumbered, you're outgunned, I'm gonna pick one of those, and I'm gonna improvise an escape route.
What is it like getting to create a world like this? It's a very Philip K. Dick-esque style of world where what happens if, creating that, but make it feel authentic like it might have actually could have happened.
One of the things that I think sets Homefront apart as a series is investigating how people deal with living under an occupation. We know that when things like Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast, the gas lines could be a couple of miles long, and the water is only on shelves for about 3 hours after the announcement that the storm is incoming. And imagine that over a longer term, you start to see interesting ingenuity come into play of people collecting rainwater from their gutters or like doing some gardening on their tiny little apartment balconies. And it's things like that that you don't see in other games.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the games that we're excited to see in 2016.
And we've got a look at Rainbow Six Siege after the break.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Hi everyone, my name is Lachlan Monroe. I'm on the set of School of Fish, our new project, which is going to rock. Hopefully you all check it out when it comes out. Chewie! That was my friend Alex Ponovic. My fondest memory of Star Wars would be the first time I saw it and sort of remember staring at Chewbacca and thinking to myself, what would it be like to be that hairy?
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie here tells me you're looking for passage to the Alderaan system.
So as I pondered that, my focus shifted to Han Solo, and I decided that, you know what? To hell with Chewbacca, I want to be that cat. So that has been my plight ever since I was a kid. 30 years later, I'm still a day player. Thanks a lot, Ponovic! Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Victor Lucas, I want to have your children.
Little behind-the-scenes info for you. When I did the interview with Lachlan, he let me know that that photograph that you see in Scary Movie of a certain area of his body, that's not to scale. It's not really him.
And I don't think the photograph is of his head.
Okay.
We'll just leave it there. Listen, it's CCR time, everybody. Here's our review of Kirby's Dream Course.
Today's classic kart game is Kirby's Dream Course. So this is taking us way, way back to 1994, 1995 in North America.
That's right.
So I was just a wee lass.
Yes.
I didn't play this game.
I didn't even know if you were alive when this came out.
I was alive. I just
Where did this cartridge come from?
This cartridge came from the magic cupboard of Victor Lucas's basement.
Victor Lucas's secret vault. It's a futuristic golf game in which you use Kirby as the ball.
Yeah.
There's no golf clubs. That's how golf's played.
No,
you hit the clubs on the ball. But Kirby, you just kind of boot him around the course and you try to get him into the hole, and you determine where the hole appears by, whatever the last enemy. It's not an enemy. It's a little red head.
Yeah, it's an enemy.
That's not an enemy. You just roll over it with the Kirby ball.
No, there are enemies. There are enemies. Some enemies you can't take take down, but the enemies that you can take down, when there is one left, he will turn into a hole, and then you need to get Kirby into that hole. And your trajectory needs to be perfect. Needs to.
Mine were every time.
No, that's not true.
You wouldn't believe all the holes in one I got.
Okay.
Just like when I got married to my wife. Is that dirty?
And then she divorced you for not getting holes in one after that one day. I got a hole in one. I really did. You didn't, though. You and I played this game together.
I think it was lucky.
It was lucky. Luck does come into play, absolutely, in this game, much like it does with mini golf, because that's how it feels here. It feels like you're playing a mini golf game, but what's interesting about this one is that you don't just putt to get Kirby into the hole. You have to bounce him sometimes.
You do.
He changes his shape as well. You can use the Kirby parasol. You can. I mean, there's a lot of different power-ups that you can use here.
There's 3 different things.
Yeah.
There's a tornado, and there's a sparkly ball, and there's a UFO, which weirdly enough are the same 3 things that I arrived in Vancouver with. I had all of those things.
I think this is a pretty interesting experience to have. You can play this now on the Wii U if you wanted to. So, I mean, honestly, why not? It's a blast from the past.
There are a lot of different gameplay mechanics here. There are a lot of things. If you're a fan of the Kirby universe, of all the Nintendo universes, that is my least favorite. I don't have any love. I like Canvas Curse, but this game, I don't know. I've had this experience before. I don't need to go back to a 1995 game and have a far cruder, much more shaved down kind of experience like this. It's not for me. It's for Victor, and maybe it's for you, I think.
I think it's a really interesting blast from the past. I enjoyed it. It was different.
This is gonna go in your blast from the past category?
It's gonna go in my blast from the past category.
Nice.
I think it should belong there. What are you gonna give Kirby's Dream Course?
I'm gonna give it a disappointing 4.5 out of 10.
It gets a 7 for me.
Why are you laughing at me?
No matter how or where our enemies strike, no matter what defense they cower behind, Team Rainbow must stand ready.
One of the things I heard a lot about when I first moved here and started working with you, my friend,
Yep.
1, your sexual prowess, so impressive.
Right, yeah.
2, the other thing is Rainbow Six. 3, that's what I think you guys were obsessed with here
On
in the office.
original Xbox,
It
yeah.
used to be like a mythology that you would tell about each other. Like, remember that one match where we did this, this, and this, and now the Rainbow Six series is back again. This is just simply Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes.
I like the word siege, but do we like the game, Victor Lucas?
Well, it's another one of these big December releases and what I'm calling now Epic December.
Epic
2015.
December.
Yeah,
You gotta say it that way. Epic December.
Epic December. And yes, it does evoke a lot of feelings of nostalgia for me, both good and bad, because it's not visually state-of-the-art. We're playing some beautiful games these days, like Star Wars Battlefront, Just
Tomb
Cause 3.
Raider 2, I thought
Tomb
looked
Raider
great.
was
Remember the
amazing.
snow in that game? And then
Beautiful.
this game looks like a last gen, like even pre-Xbox 360 kind of graphics.
It's better than that because there's lots of little pieces in each of the environments. There's lots of little things, items, objects to kind
Still
of peek
seems
at.
sterile to me.
It just is too squared off. The sort of dimensions of everything just feel a little too built for a shooter. You can kind of see the map editing that's
template.
happening. Yeah, right? Like the plane's a little too wide, the house is a little too roomy, you know? You've got lots of nooks and crannies and corners to duck into, but you can see the video game design in it. Now that's not necessarily a terrible thing because there's some really competent, fun video game design in this game.
Yeah, I was really against it because of the visuals at the start.
Yeah.
And then I started playing it, and I, in particular, got into the situations. And I kind of like this because I think it's Siege's efforts to make a single-player experience here,
Yeah.
something that I really wanted from Battlefront, didn't get. And I get something here that I could really hang my hat on. And I'd like to go into these situations, and I like to do my best, and you're given 3 stars depending on how well you perform, how many of the criteria you actually satisfy.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, and I played those things obsessively, and I reluctantly went online. What'd you find online?
Online is a little more chaotic for sure, but you see the competent players. They hide in the right places. They don't charge into things. This is a game about methodology and really sort of taking your time in every sort of combat situation. It's about tactics. It's about teamwork. I think that's the reason to fall in love with this kind of gameplay. It does feel like a kind of grown-up version of Counter-Strike, and there's been so many versions of Counter-Strike, and it feels like there's been such a delay on this game and such a wait for a new Rainbow Six game that maybe the sort of shiny moment and the allure of this franchise is kind of off a little bit. But there's still a lot of things to digest and a lot of, great reasons to pick up this game and play it. And multiplayer is cool. They broke it down into a terrorist hunt type of thing where you are chasing after terrorists or you're defending a hostage from being attacked by terrorists.
Very much like horde mode in that sense, because one side you're just basically shoring up the environment, protecting the environment. You get a group of people together and then you just defend the area for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And I love that. I always have a little bit of OCD when it comes to that kind of gameplay.
What are you going to give Rainbow Six Siege?
It's a 6.5 out of 10.
It gets an 8 from me.
Now, don't go anywhere because Victor Lucas is joining us after the break with his toy table.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games. Welcome back to EP Daily. The cake may be a lie, but the toy table is real. I have some very fun characters today. This is Peabody and Atlas from Portal 2, and I've become enamored with Portal 2 ever since I've rediscovered how wonderful the game is in LEGO Dimensions. They have a Portal 2 pack, and you can play as characters from Portal 2. There's Portal 2 levels in the campaign. So fun. And then I saw these at a toy store, and I went, oh my God, I gotta have these characters. I've always dug the design of the robots from Portal 2 and all of this sort of industrial, high-tech, gleaming white, almost Stormtrooper-esque kind of qualities of the design work that's in the game. So it's phenomenal to be able to have a couple of physical little action figures that embody these robotic creations. I also am a huge fan of robot toys in general. I've got a nice growing collection of robot figures. They have weaponry, the portal guns obviously, and they glow. They have little LED lights in them. I do have some concerns with how durable they are because the limbs are very, very skinny. But still, I'm very impressed with the design. NECA nails their video game character lineup very, very well, and they've done a fantastic job with these two characters. Now I just have to get the Chell action figure. But right now we're going to move on. We're going back in time with our 25 seasons in 25 days segment. This is from season 13 and our old friend, Julie Stouffer.
Let's go in, find some people to talk to. What do you say? I'm here with NBA star Steven Francis. I'm here with Ludacris, and we're talking about this amazing outfit. We're here in beautiful, sunny San Diego at Comic-Con, and I'm here with Weird Al Yankovic.
Hi, Julie.
I want to ask you, Ted, do you ever play video games?
I do.
You do? Wow.
Wow.
Wow. We're here at the Sundance Film Festival with Kevin, and I want to know, what video games do you like to play?
I love sports video games.
Every girl loved Miss Pac-Man because she was like the first heroine, you know? She had the bow.
Yeah,
it was so feminine.
It's a fun game. It's still really fun to play.
A lot of actresses and actors are moving into video games and actually starring in video games. Have you ever thought about that for your career?
Yeah, I'm starring in one right now.
So I never knew you were a big gamer.
Well, it's the first time we met.
That's true. I wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah, that would usually stand in the way, and stuff. I also like to eat food, and I like horseback riding and motorcycling.
You have an Xbox. Do you ever play online?
No, that's
way over your head.
That's.
I heard that you're going to be squirting milk out of your nipples.
Yes.
Hey, I'm here today at Universal Studios Hollywood. We're looking for Peter Wanted because he's going to tell us something about The Thing. So let's go find him. Ooh.
Is there the same, the adoption agency comes and takes your kid if you neglect it?
Probably are the aliens abducted.
Aliens abducted?
So would you say this is a game that kind of converges different forms of media?
You know, he kind of looks like you, only when you were younger.
A lot of people say that.
What am I fighting with? Obviously, I'm big and huge. Do I have fire breathing?
Everything in the Resident Evil.
Scary.
1, 2, 3.
It's the Xeon. Gundam. Hashin.
Have you ever thought about trying to take this out?
I don't think that's a...
And stab.
Oh my God, it's great to see Julie Stouffer in the show again. She's actually making video games now, so hi Julie. And remember, you can watch all of our 25 seasons in 25 days segments on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV. Stick around, we're gonna be right back with the Twitter question of the day. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time for our Twitter question of the day and Scott Jones's interpretive dance. This is from Mr. Osborne at Phantom RC Driver. Why do you think the PSP and Vita never took hold sales-wise like the DS and 3DS? I still enjoy playing my PSP.
You have to understand that everybody who is a gamer worships in the church of Nintendo. That is like a religion. I really feel like our affinity for the Nintendo characters and the Nintendo consoles is so strong.
Yeah, and the Nintendo game design, ethics, I think. The way that they put their stuff together, their ethos.
Colorful, relevant to kids, relevant to adults. I love the Vita. I love the PSP. I'm a veteran gamer. I don't understand why these machines didn't work, or they didn't work well enough for Sony.
I mean, they worked for me.
They worked for me.
I loved both platforms, and I love that I have this huge library of PSP and Vita things. I would love Sony now because they're sort of moving out of the portable space, I actually would love Sony to let us play more of those games easily on television, because they were such good-looking games, whether you played the PSP.
You're never happy. You always want something else.
That's a great library of titles, and it would be great to be able to...
This is what I want.
Yeah.
I want the Vita and the PSP to get a hotel room, go in there, and make a baby.
Okay.
Then I will buy that baby.
That actually might happen, but I predict it would also be a phone. Hey, good question. If you've got one for us, go to our website, epn.tv, and you can get caught up on all of the Twitter questions on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV.
And we're taking a look at all the awesome games of 2016. In fact, you got to check out Street Fighter V. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you tomorrow. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.